Hello, class. I put out a video that turned out to be about a half hour of what I'm about to explain here. So, like, this is Frankenstein abstract letter form. So I realized that these instructions, if you are like, you know Illustrator well, you could follow them, or it would be better to have an example. I should have definitely put an example, but now I'll have this video on there too. This is going to be the shorter, quicker version that doesn't have, because the other video has lots of tips and tricks on how to use Illustrator and goes over a lot more than this video here. Okay, so first you download the file. So I click on this file, I download it, click download, and I just open this right up with Illustrator. Or save it and then open it wherever it's saved. This will save into the downloads and open it there. So I got this open. The next thing is download the file in Illustrator. There are two artboards. You will be creating abstract letter form. This is artboard 2, that's artboard 1. Lock the diagram layer, make sure that is the only layer that is locked. And then also, it's helpful if you can use the snipping tool and you can make a new snip of these instructions and just drop them right into Illustrator. And hit Control-C to copy, and I can go over here, go on the diagram layer, slide over to the side by pressing spacebar to get the hand, then Control-V to paste this. So then I get my instructions here that I could follow. Which they came out blurry, so I'm actually, so you can see what I'm doing here. I keep on doing Chrome. Lock the diagram layer. So I'm going to lock the diagram layer. No other layers are locked. Now I'm not going to mess with anything on the diagram layer, just these pieces of type. Again with the Chrome. Okay, so use the shape builder tool to cut out the different anatomy parts of the text. Vocabulary is from this lesson, which somewhere, yes, this here, which is a previous page in this module. And then it says, yeah, use the shape builder tool. Must use at least 10 shapes and at least 5 different anatomy parts. So I need to cut out 5 pieces and use those variety of 5 10 times, basically. So using the shape builder tool, the shape and selection tools to cut out the different parts of the letter forms, then move them over to artboard 2. Okay. So, and then these are the instructions, what I'm about to go over. So if I want to grab, I'm looking at this here, and I want to start with the stem here. So I'll zoom in a little more maybe. And I'm going to first draw a shape on top of this. So the shape is kind of be like my cookie cutter lines, like where do I want to cut this from? And I need to be on the right layer, the text layer. So I'm going to just click and drag to draw my shape with the rectangle tool. And I could flip these or make them default here, and then so I have a black outline, stroke and no fill, so I could see what I'm doing. And then I grab the selection tool, and then with the selection tool, this is the important part. Like I can only use the shape builder tool to cut this out if I have both the shape that I'm cutting from and my cookie cutter piece selected. So if I hold shift, I could select multiple things. If I'm holding shift, I could also deselect something and if I have a lot of things selected. So I got those selected, and I'm going to use the shape builder tool. And then you could see it's kind of like, what do you want to do? Do you want to add just this, or do you want to add to make this a piece, or make this like sideways C looking shape a piece? So I'm just going to click on both those. And so basically what I did is I made this a shape, and then the rest of the T is a shape. Then I'm going to go back to my selection tool. Then I could click on this outer shape that I don't need and hit delete. And then I'm going to click on this shape here and hit Control C. And then I'm going to move over, again with the spacebar, over to the second artboard and hit Control V. And this is a stem, so I'm going to put it up here. So this is a stem, so I'm going to grab the word stem too. I'm going to hit Control C again, and then I can use my navigator panel, and then hit Control V. And this is a stem. Whoops. And this is what we're not doing. This is an example of, like, I'm not going to try to move that back. I'm going to hit Control Z to undo that, because I'll never get it to the right spot. I don't want to, never want to skew type. I copy that for some reason, and then I would go back in, maybe take one more shape here, and I like the top of this F, or let's grab the shoulder here from the H. So again, I'm going to use the shape tool, draw my rectangle, or I could use the pen tool and draw a shape that way. So I'm going to click, I just want the shoulder. Doesn't really matter as long as it's kind of, that's defining what I'm going to take from there. And I could, instead of using the shape builder tool, well, I can use the shape builder tool, and then I want to show one more thing. If I see these are plus signs now, it's not working because I did not select the H. So I'm going to go back to selection tool, hit shift, select the H. Now go back to the shape builder tool, and then if I hold Alt, I can just delete these other parts. So it turns into a minus sign. And then go back to my selection tool, which is just V on the keyboard. That didn't work for some reason. And then click off. And something happened. Oh, it went behind. That's okay. Then I'm going to hit Control C. And then go over here. Hit Control V. And I changed the view right now. So I'm going to go back to oops. There we go. And then I would do the same thing, grab the word shoulder, and they're conveniently in alphabetical order. Selection tool, click and drag, copy. Go over here, click and drag, paste. And then I would get my 5 pieces and then start building something. So I want to, first of all, make these all just with a black fill and no stroke. And then I'm going to grab this here, and then I could, oh, I shouldn't just grab it. I'm going to hold Alt. Click Alt, and then you can see how I get that extra arrow. That means I'm copying it. So I'm going to put this right on my baseline. And then I'm going to copy it again and maybe put it down here. And then I'm going to hold Alt and copy this. So see, I'm not using these. And then what you can do is adjust the scale. What you can't do is skew these shapes. You can adjust the scale. You can rotate them and reflect them, but not skewing them. So maybe, all right. There's a duck with too big of a hat on. That's going to be my letter form. This would be a little too simple. Obviously, I'm only using 2 shapes here. And I would then move forward with what to do next. So, and this is an example that I had already come up with that you could see in the post. I posted this with a longer video. So I named it kind of like almost the name of a typeface. It's Bold Centurion, kind of sounds like a typeface. And when I look at this, it makes me think of a Roman soldier. So, and they're a centurion, so I thought, hey, Bold Centurion. And then I picked a typeface that kind of represents that. That looks like it could easily be written like a Roman typeface. Oops. My zoom is messed up. Control Z. Okay. And would go in and kind of adjust some things, like clean up some lines. Like these are pretty clean. I've already cleaned these up, so they're pretty close to aligned. Then the last thing you got to do is export this. So go to File, Export, Export for Screens, and then you might start with Assets. You got to click on Artboards, and then make sure only Artboard 2 is selected. You see the range, Artboard 2. Then you want to change this to JPEG. JPEG 100 is fine. 1x is fine. And take note of where it's saving to. So right now I want to maybe just drop it on the desktop and select that folder. And it's going to create a 1x folder, and that's what it's going to be inside of. So then I would hit Export, and there it is on my desktop, 1x. And then there's my 1x folder, and there's the thing. And then I would change the name of this and then put it into my folder for this course that you have. Okay, and the last but not least, I'm going to post this. So if I was going to reply here, you can see I posted this already. And I would not attach it this way, because that means people would have to click on it to see it, and you want people to be able to scroll through and make comments and see your work right off the bat without having to download anything. So I'm going to click here and then upload the image, grab it. That's a video. That is not it. So yeah, Franken example, grab it, and then I hit submit. And I'm not going to do that. I already did. And that is that. That is how you do this particular assignment. If you need additional help, please don't hesitate to email me, and if anything, we could set up a quick Zoom meeting, because I could give you responses via email, and we could go back and forth, or you could spend a few minutes Zooming, and I could help you solve any problem, hopefully. All right, everybody, and that's that. Have a wonderful day.